House Republicans are promising to flex their investigative powers now that they're in charge. And it appears they're going to be going after President Biden's son, Hunter. The top Republican on the House Oversight Committee speaking to Chuck Todd on Meet the Press on Sunday.
There are emails and text messages that show Hunter Biden complaining about having to spend so much money keeping his dad up. I mean, that's a concern because Hunter Biden's only source of income were from our adversaries in China and Russia for influence peddling. So this is something that we should look into.
Joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, Virginia battleground representative for the Democratic caucus. So, Congresswoman, welcome back. Congratulations on finally getting sworn in at, what was it, 1:45 in the morning, Saturday morning? At least you didn't have that far to travel home, or for your family if they were there for the swearing-in ceremonies. But wow, what a week you guys had. Let's talk about your reaction to Congressman Comer's comments, because it was in the context of saying that this is not about Hunter. This is about President Biden. So they're trying to say they're going after the president for supposedly Chinese or foreign influence peddling, without pointing out, of course, well, whatever the facts of that case may be. They're not talking about the foreign bank accounts, including some in China that we now know about from the tax returns that were finally released on former President Trump.
Well, Andrea, I have multiple reactions to this. First and foremost, when I was campaigning for re-election across Virginia's 7th District, not once did anyone ever mention their curiosities related to the president's son's computer. They talked about inflation. They talked about the economy. They talked about the hardships their families are facing, the challenges facing their kids, their communities. They talked about the issues that matter to them in their personal life and in their ability to provide for their family and ensure their own stability. And so what I find so shocking is that this is kind of a major departure from so much of the rhetoric that we heard along the campaign trail from our counterparts across the aisle. What they said they wanted to work on is very different from what it now appears to be their primary concern. And specifically, and you noted it, in the former president's tax returns, we know that President Trump has financial entanglements with China, has financial entanglements with foreign governments. And so it is just kind of stunning to me that they are so committed to whatever this is in terms of these efforts. And notably, there are many challenges. I'm a former CIA officer. I am first among those to be saying that we need to be looking out for our own national security, prioritizing it. Foreign entanglements of anyone in leadership is an issue. Certainly, we need to be looking at how the United States is going to be long-term competitive with a rising China in face of a rising China. But that's not what this is about. This is at the same time that we see an intended cut of $75 billion to defense spending, which is just an extraordinary departure from what has been kind of the commonly accepted notion that we need to invest in our own defense, invest in our own national security to keep us safe and competitive on the global stage. So, Congressman Comer's comments I find totally out of step with what matters to the American people, but not all and out surprising given some of the rhetoric we've seen across the aisle.
And how concerned are you about this new committee that's going to have oversight and target federal agencies like the IRS with false claims totally discredited by the Washington Post and other fact checkers that there are 87,000 new IRS agents, false claims about the intelligence community, and, as you've pointed out, the efforts to cut spending on Ukraine?
Well, the question here is what is the circumstance? We already have oversight committees, right? We already have the Judiciary Committee that has oversight over the FBI and over the Department of Justice. We already have the House Foreign Affairs Committee that has oversight over the State Department. We already have the House Intelligence Committee that has oversight over the intelligence community. So the idea that they are creating this new entity meant to look at how agencies may have been politicized is indeed an effort and an exercise in politicizing them. It's, as someone who represents many, many, many public servants, including Quantico, the FBI's training facility, to me, the fact that we continue to have lawmakers who are vilifying the FBI, the same people who keep us safe, who fight terrorism, who go after, foreign nationals who may be spying here in the United States, the list goes on and on. The fact that we have members of Congress who are willing to vilify them for political gain is stunning to me, and frankly offensive as someone who spent my career in national security before getting to Congress.
To say nothing of the debt ceiling and other budgetary issues and fiscal issues that are on your plate. Well, you had a tough re-election in a tough district, and again, congratulations. And look forward to speaking to you over the course of the next 2 years for sure. Thanks very much, Abigail Spanberger from Virginia.